I want to talk a little bit about this video before you watch it. This video is on slaughtering a cow, or a steer, actually. I keep calling it that. I do that through the entire video. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it a little bit before we just get right into the video is, if you follow my channel, the channel is completely random. It's really whatever I'm into in the moment. The videos are pretty timely, meaning that I post them relatively quickly after I do the thing. And I happened to be driving through Arcadia, Florida recently, and I saw this Stockton or stockyard slaughterhouse. And my dad plays golf up in northern Florida, and him and a bunch of guys will stop on the way and pick up meat from one of these meat markets in central Florida that caters to slaughtering local cattle. And every time I'm in this area, I'm always kind of mindful of that and on the lookout to find one of these meat markets. And so I called this stockyard, I really can't remember the name of it, but I called them and I asked them if they sell to the public, and they said, no, you want Fussells. And it took a couple minutes to figure out what they were saying, but I then Googled Fussells, and turns out it was only about 10 more minutes from where I was. So I decided to drive over as I was calling them and found out that they sell to the public. They cut to order. I didn't know what that meant. I talk about that in a minute. But this is not my typical content, meaning that you're going to be able to see a cow get slaughtered start to finish. And there's a couple times where I just warn you that if you don't want to watch this, you should not watch this. I think it's a natural thing. I think that it's how the entire country is fed. And I think that this approach is far more humane. And I respect this approach over mass slaughterhouses. I understand how we have to feed the country, but whenever possible, if you could buy from a local slaughterhouse or a local meat market that's selling local beef raised by local people, I just think it's better. I think it's better for the environment. I think it's better for the economy. I think it's healthier. So I'd encourage you to do that, to try to seek out these local markets as opposed to just the big beef supply houses that, I don't want to get into the politics of however they get those cows as big as possible, as fast as possible. But this is not that. This is just locally raised, and I hope you enjoy it. But like I said, I wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about the video before I launched into it here. And if this is not for you, please don't watch it and just skip this one. I really appreciate all the subscribers, and I hope that you subscribe to this channel because it's completely random, and this one is completely random. So enjoy, and let's get to it. Hey everyone, we're at Fussell's Meat Market. It's in Arcadia, and we're gonna slaughter a cow. So if you find this, if you're not into this, you should absolutely not watch, because I show you everything. It's a meat market, as I mentioned. You can bring your cows here. If you have, if you raise cows, they will slaughter them, butcher them, cut them down, package them, and then you come back and pick them up. But they're so nice. I've never been here before, and they were so nice. They invited me in to see the place, and then it just kept creeping all the way into where they do the slaughtering. They have a little baby cow in the back that one of the girls was feeding. She let me feed it, and they cut me some custom hanger steaks right out of the carcass that they were slaughtering. It's a great video if you want to see this, but I'm warning you, do not watch this video if you do not want to see the full process, soup to nuts, slaughtering down a steer. Actually, I even learned what that is. I'll tell you the difference between a cow and a steer and a bull and a heifer. I learned so much from these guys. It was awesome. They gave me a hat. I'll show you that here in a minute. But I'm warning you, don't watch this video if you're not into this stuff. It's it might turn your stomach. So let's go in and check it out. This is what it looks like when you walk in. They have all their cuts and prices on that whiteboard back there behind me. You'll see in a minute is a spice rack and some freezers. But that lady back there, she's the one who answered the phone when I called, and I must have sounded like an idiot because I asked if they sell to the public, and she said, yes, we cut to order. And I didn't know what that meant. And I said, if I give you money, can I leave with steak? And she laughed and said yes, and recognized me like I mentioned when I came in. And so after a little bit of conversation, she's cutting me some 1.5-inch ribeyes. And this other gentleman realized that I'm totally into this. I asked if I could film. I was asking them all kinds of questions, and he decided to show me this room, oh my God, what a treat. All right, this is nuts. Oh, wow. What's this? Goat. What? Goat. It keeps going. Oh, yeah. This is my new favorite place. What's back there? Are you butchering? Oh, boy. Oh, it's a freezer. And where do they butcher? Go straight. Go down here and around? Oh my God. Oh, wow. Hi. Oh my goodness, this is cool. How many do you do a day? How many do you do a day?
Right now we fall and
And then you sell to the restaurants and stuff? You sell everywhere or just here? Oh, and customers bring it to you and then you do it? Yeah, this is cool. Very cool. Thank you. What? Oh, wow. So that one is, how long ago did it get killed?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? So what just happened is I was actually getting ready to leave. I had no idea that this door was here and that there was a steer waiting to be slaughtered right on the other side. As you just heard, this steer was shot about 5 minutes ago. And it's right about now that I am trying to decide, am I going to stay and watch this? I really can't believe that I'm even being allowed back here. They were very friendly and wanted to explain what they were doing. I mean, this is what they do for a living. They've both been working here for about 12 years. This facility has been here since 1947. And it's a very normal thing. I mean, if you've ever eaten beef, well, this is how that beef made it to your plate. They're very respectful, and it's a very clean environment, and they really know what they're doing. But I want to warn you again that if you are not into this, you probably should stop watching, because what's going to happen next is they remove the ears and the head, and then they start to, then they lay the steer down on a cradle, and they take all the skin off, cut the legs off from the knees down, and then they hoist it back up, skin it completely, gut it, and saw it in half. What do you do with the hide? Throw away?
Yeah.
How long does it take to go from that to that to that?
Like working like faster or whatever,
20 minutes? Wow. Take your time, like 30, 40 minutes? At this point, the ear's head have been removed, and they hung it there to bleed for a little while before laying it in this cradle. Give you a heads up throughout the video. Next, after he gets the steer in the cradle, he'll begin to skin the steer, and he'll skin it down all the way to where it's resting in the cradle.
Spanish restaurants or like Spanish store,
Yeah.
they don't give you like you ask them for like barbacoa, like taco barbacoa, they don't give you pieces the original. They give you like from a shoulder.
Oh, they keep this for themselves?
It's expensive.
Yeah.
That's why they don't, a lot of stores don't sell that.
Yeah, I've only had the cheek meat from a pig. You know, we do a pig roast. It's so good.
Yeah, cows too.
Yeah.
Good.
How do you cut it? Is there a, oh, you cut it in half with that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we split it with that one.
He does 90% of the work with this 8-inch fillet knife or boning knife. I fish, you know that if you watch the channel, so I would describe it as a fillet knife. He sharpens it constantly. It looks to be about an 8-inch knife, maybe a 10, but he just works his way through the entire body, removing the skin. It's a combination of pulling and slicing, and he removed the legs earlier from the knee down, and he did that with this same knife, just by inserting it into the knee and then cutting the tendons, breaking the cartilage, and then just cutting the rest of it off. Here, I'm asking him about the technique of skinning. I only have experience quartering small hogs, and when you quarter a small hog, you have to be careful not to split that body cavity, that abdominal cavity. And evidently with a steer this large, that's not something you need to worry about. If you're, you really have to intentionally enter into that abdominal cavity because simply it's a mess. You know, you want to keep it as clean as possible until you're ready for that part. I'm assuming, just from my very limited experience quartering small hogs. Anyway, you can see how he's just working his way all the way around. I was asking him what they do with the hide, and in this case, they're just discarding these hides. If a customer wants to keep the hide, then they put it separately.
Some restaurants you can't pay feet, man.
Wow.
Hold
it up. How long? It's hard to believe that it's that freaking long. So how do you make it into soup? You boil it?
Yeah. Clean this up good. Clean it up good, split it out.
Yep.
Split it out.
And that's the meat?
Yeah. All this is meat. All of it is meat.
Even the white part?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a gristle. Yeah, that's a gristle. It's meat.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's all put in vinegar and lime, man, and clean it up and make soup.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
It's good.
Make you want to kill somebody, man.
I would totally eat
You
that.
drink it too, so we make this soup here too. They drink it too. He
Yeah.
like it too.
Yeah.
I want Jamaica don't like the soup.
I'll eat anything once.
This in Jamaica,
Yeah.
coconut soup, expensive.
I bet.
Everybody want it, man.
I bet. There's only one per cow. Only one per steer.
Yeah.
Steer, not cow.
Get rid of one, then you find one.
Oh, boy.
Good one.
Okay, well, that was the penis, in case you weren't clear on that. And here we are cutting the breastbone or the chest bone. I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but that saw
Sweet bread.
is what takes care of that.
Yeah, from beef.
So you guys keep the good parts?
I just keep that for, I got he's from Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Customer.
Yeah.
They eat it over there.
They like it?
But they hard to find over here. And I just save it for them. They do that.
Sweetbreads are made up of two organs, the thymus, I think that's how you pronounce it, and the pancreas. The thymus is in the neck cavity area, and that's what you just saw. The pancreas is in the abdominal cavity somewhere. Anyway, I think it's neat that they use every single part of the cow that somebody's interested in or they have a customer for. It's a shame to waste really anything on such an amazing animal. So they do that throughout the entire video with just various parts. And they do a lot of rinsing. The other gentleman there on the left was rinsing the carcasses that have already been split. He's now rinsing again. You saw him earlier rinsing the hide before he started skinning, but lots of rinsing. And what he's going to do here is work on that skin around the butt area and then remove the tail. They use the tail also. They eat the tail. I've had oxtail. I asked them about it here in a minute, and they say it's very similar to oxtail. Once he has this removed, then he hoists it up on that hook and spreader bar that you see there. Those hooks are hooked into the tendons in the legs just above the knee, and it is pretty incredible that those tendons will hold the entire weight of the animal hanging.
He sells some cows, little cows. Most of the one that we just call those. That's almost like prime.
I was just asking him about the fat content and that these did not seem very fatty. And, I'm thinking fat is flavor, and he acknowledged that these were pretty lean. He commented that he got, I think he said 4 in recently from a different area in Florida. And whatever they were feeding them caused them to be significantly more fatty. You'll see here later in the video exactly what these guys are eating. It looks like a combination of grain, corn, and grass, but these weren't particularly fatty. It took some muscle to get the skin to pull off of the tail. He had to cut it down about halfway, and then he just pulled it off like a sock. I didn't get him removing the tail, but he did it with that same knife that he's been using. He just knows exactly where to cut. And then here we are rinsing the tail. Is that a good part?
Sweetbread.
Oh, that's a brain?
Yeah, sweetbread.
Oh, sweetbread, more sweetbread. So what that was actually the pancreas. It's further back in that belly cavity than I thought, because he was able to access it without splitting that area open. And here he's got it hoisted up, and he'll just remove the rest of the skin off the back, and then they rinse it quite a bit, and then flip it around and clean out the body cavity, which again is pretty incredible. Probably another warning if you're a little queasy. This next part, you get to see absolutely everything that's inside of a steer.
That's right. No, guys.
When you get up in a campus, watch the street with all eyes on
This part here is actually full of poop. I thought that this was the stomach, but I think that might be the large intestine. If you imagine where this is in the carcass, it's up in the body cavity, it's more towards the tail. And originally I was like, wow, that's a giant stomach. Well, the stomachs are actually very little, so I'm thinking that that is the large intestine, and he splits it right here, and all the poop comes out, and it's more liquefied poop, right? Because it's not ready to come out as poop. And it is hardcore. There was an odor here, and at this point, I am very close to throwing up. I can't lie. The smell was something. It was all I could do to just, you can see there, that's solid, that's all poop. That's all poop that's not ready to actually come out.
Take oral.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay, he's going to come tomorrow and going to have, you see the green tribes out there, the stomach?
Yeah.
They feed it to the dog.
Oh, okay. How's that for a small world? Turns out somebody from where I live comes and picks up once a month certain parts for dog food. I'm sure they process it into dog food, but that's what we were talking about, is a lot of these cavity parts get turned into dog food. He's reviewing with me here the different organs. That of course is the liver, big purple lobe, and the tail, and the hearts. And here you can actually see, when he pumps water through it, the different chambers of the heart. The water will squirt out in different areas depending on which chamber he was rinsing. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. And here we have the small intestine. They save the entire small intestine. There's just a ton of use for this. Sausage, they eat them. He's showing me the parts of the larger intestine, which he confirmed that was huge before.
Yeah.
With that one bucket filled with poo, they slide another one over here to collect the organs that they don't use. And in a second here, he's gonna go after the spleen, and that's what he's about to cut out. And evidently, the spleen is something that they also use for dog food, because it went over across the room into the dog food pile for the person that picks that up. And once again, it's just good to see that, all these parts are being used. What's that?
Spleen.
The what?
Spleen?
Oh, spleen.
Yeah.
Does anybody eat that?
No.
Dogs? What is that? The rest of the stomach? Oh, that's another stomach.
That's book. The book.
The book?
Yeah.
Here we're discussing how many stomachs are in a cow and the different types of stomachs. And this particular stomach is really, really interesting. It has fins in it. Like, the only thing I can describe, once he cuts it open and you can actually see what's inside, is probably, like, I would say 20 or 30, like a lot of fins that the food kind of flows through, and it looks like there's all of this muscle that grinds whatever the cow or the steer has eaten. And this isn't a very good view. but you can see that it's full of grain and corn. Here's another, he cuts it open more so we can really see it. And I would say there's probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch muscle segments that span the entire cavity of this stomach, where you can actually see the food would pass through and the cows, see, it's all these chambers. And it's just really interesting, you know, the volume of food that they eat and the way that their bodies need to process it.
So it's in like sections.
This makes perfect sense that they would have this type of stomach that you can see all these layers.
That's incredible.
And each one of these layers is muscle that just acts as a grinder to prepare the food for the intestines to be absorbed into the body.
Yeah. What is that jelly part right in there? Yeah, that's liver. Okay, kidneys.
You can catch a glimpse here of the kidneys. That's that yellow area there that I'm pointing at. And I think the liver would lay right under the kidneys normally. You have to imagine gravity is pulling everything down. But right now he's cutting out the liver. It's huge. You'll see it here in a minute. And there we go. Next up, he shows me the skirt steak, which I would have loved to get out of, I'd love to get that. You know, I would think that a fattier cow right there, that's the skirt steak. I would think a leaner steer, I keep saying cow, but I think a leaner steer, you would want the skirt, and a fattier steer, you would want ribeyes, New York strip, T-bones, stuff like that. But I would think the filet and the skirt out of a leaner cow would be steer. See, I keep doing it. Would be fantastic. We're talking about the piccata, something I bought from a meat market in Miami called Wild Fork, and he was showing me where the piccata is. Right up there on the butt. And now he's going after the heart and lungs. You'll see that here. And he's removing the lungs from where the heart is. And that right there is the heart.
Oh. Did you get him?
No, I got fly.
Oh.
We're now ready to split into 2 halves, and what he's doing is positioning these separate hooks up on the rack. And this way, when they do split it with that saw on the left there, there's some hooks to support both halves when they remove the spreader bar. What they do is lift the steer, position the hooks, and then lower the steer onto the hook. There's definitely some technique going on here. But basically just put the hook right in where the hook is on the spreader bar. And then this is actually pretty clever. So that's a chain link, but it's left open so that they can pull it off like this without having to see how it's split. Thought that was pretty smart.
That's okay.
And that's all there is to it. Now they start to process in a different way. After they rinse it, clean it, it goes into the cooler,
So
and then
this is
the
a
butchering
hanger
begins.
steak.
Yeah. Hanger steak.
I've never had a hanger steak.
Let me open that bag.
Okay.
I'll get you a couple of these. I don't know about those.
No, very cool. Very
He
cool.
cooked those. He cooked those with
I stopped recording because we were saying our goodbyes. I ended up buying those
So you're raising her as a pet?
hanger steaks and the ribeyes that I originally came in for about an hour and a half ago. So it was such an amazing time. But on my way out, I saw this young lady with a milk bottle and asked her, you know, what was going on. And they have this little calf in the back. They let me feed it, as you can see, which was very, very cool. And just everybody here was just so incredibly nice and accommodating. And, you know, it's really a privilege. I hope you feel like this video was a privilege to see on a smaller scale how the country is fed. That's really all I could think about was just, this is how we feed the country. In the back here is where they put the animals in the stalls on their way to that back door that we saw at the beginning of the process. So she was explaining this to me very briefly, but this is it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I highly recommend this place. If you're ever in Arcadia, please stop in and buy some meat from them. Support this business, as I mentioned, that has been here since 1947. It's on its third generation of owners. And just an amazing place and an amazing experience. You can see here at the end, I got a hat, which just made my day. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. I post new random stuff all the time. See you next time.